and port connected to my SIA. Now we can transfer the data using this path or this path. So let's start the CommServer configuration. I'm opening the previous configuration with serial line connection. I have one channel and one data provider S-bus. I'm adding new data provider S-bus IP over UDP TCP connection. I'm adding segment. Here is important thing to write the right address. Let's name it segment IP. I'm adding port for station SIA. Address is 1. Now I have to tune some time settings. For example, for segment, I have to keep connection time to 100 milliseconds, sampling time to 1 second, the same for the other segment. And for the port, we have to change inactive time and inactive time after failure. Inactive time, it means how long we are not using this interface when the connection is good. Let's set it to 10 seconds. Inactive time after failure means how long we want to wait after communication is broken. For this experiment, I suggest to set 10 seconds also. The same for the other port. Now we have configured CommServer. We can save the configuration in the default configuration file. Let's start the CommServer. We are using OPC viewer to start the CommServer. I'm connecting to the server. I'm creating a subscription with some items. Of course, we can see that values are read from the PLC and are changing. See what happened if I removed one of the plug now. Of course, tags has still good quality because we are using now the second interface to communicate with the PLC. So let's try to reconnect it. Now let's see how can we check segments and ports in the server monitor. First of all, I want to show you segments. We have two segments, segment and segment IP, and those two segments are switch on and switch off. When segment is connected, the segment IP is disconnected, and if segment IP is connected, the segment is disconnected. So we are connect and disconnect to each segment. So let's take a look what is happening with interface. we have interface port 0 and port 1. Port interface can be in state active or standby. But what happens when I take the plug off? See, one of the interface on the segment is now in file state. What does it mean? The other segment, we are communicating through the other segment and through the other port, but the port linked to serial communication is in file state. We are trying to make it active from time to time. That's why we are see sometimes that it is inactive state, because we are testing the communication if it's possible to reconnect. Of course, if I fix the problem, now we can have this port active, and again we have communication through port 0 or through port 1. Of course, on the last tab, on the protocol tab, we can find that we have some read false on protocol 0 and no read false for protocol 1. If I disconnect, we will get another read false for this protocol. The last thing I want to show you is what happening when I switch off all those two interfaces. So disconnect it, then disconnect it, and of course after timeout I have bad quality. And when I connect it again, I have again good quality. I hope that after this short presentation everybody has basic knowledge about how path redundancy works. Thank you for your attention.